Go.
Hey Chuck and Patty, this is Jim Anderson. I am a stroke survivor. I had a stroke 8 years ago. It was very bad. I lost the entire movement on my whole right side. And it took me a couple years of everyday therapy and working to get myself back to normal. And at this point, most people can't tell that I've had a stroke. I can get up, I can do things, I can walk 3 miles every day. Um, the thing that, what was your dad's name?
Chuck.
Chuck, I'm sorry. Chuck, I mean, the thing you need to do is move. You've got to do things, get up and do things for yourself. Don't let anybody, Patty, don't give him anything. Let him get up and get himself his own drink or go to the bathroom by himself. It's like you need to move. That's the number one thing. Is you need to get and you need to be able to teach your brain to move the part of your body that you want it to move the way you want it to move, because what's happening is that there's a short circuit somewhere in there. So if you want to raise your arm and it's like you can't do it past here, you have to teach it to go like this and think about it. And you have to move that arm. You have to move it all the time. And it's like it took me at least 3 years to get to the point where most people couldn't tell. But it was work every day. In the beginning, I was miserable. I hated it. I didn't want to do it. I was didn't want to see the therapist, but they would, tell me what to do, and they told me if I do what they say, you'll come through it pretty good. Now I still have a minor loss in my right hand, and I still have every now and then I lose this thought as far as words or something like that. If I get flustered or nervous, I might lose a word here and there while I'm trying to talk to somebody. But if you work on it all the time, you will come back. I'm living proof that you can come back. I could barely walk. I couldn't use this arm or hand. When I got home from the hospital, my arm was stuck like this, and I couldn't move it at all. I had to take this hand and pull it away, but it would spring back like it was spring loaded. So it took me, I had to work on pulling it away and thinking that I want my arm to be straight. And it's like telling my arm again where it needs to go, where I want it to go. It's like if I wanted to go over this way, I had to pull it over there and think about where I was doing it. So you need to move. That's the number one thing I can stress. Is like make yourself move. Make yourself, even if you're just sitting on the couch watching TV, get a small little dumbbell, like a 2 pound or a 4 pound, 5 pound one, and just kind of slowly raise it up and down. It's like that's not like it's a work. That's not like work. It's like you can do that and not even realize you're doing it. And after a while, you can keep moving up and up to the next one, and walk. It's like have somebody help you walk out to the front yard and walk back, and just keep doing it every day, and you'll start getting more and more, and to the point where you can actually walk around. It's like and I can't run at this point, but I can still walk very quickly. I can speed walk, and I can walk 3 to 5 miles whenever I go for a walk. So it's something that you can get past. You really can. It's just that most people get lazy and they don't end up doing what they need to do, and that's the biggest problem. And it's like, so I just want to make sure that you think about it and at least try in the beginning, because the longer you let it go before you start to try, the less you're going to get back. So if you start doing something right away and working on it right away, you're going to get most of what you lost back. You'll get the use of your hand and your leg and whatever else is weak. You'll get a lot of it back, not maybe all of it, but you'll get enough where it doesn't interfere with your life. It's like, for me, it definitely interfered with my life for years. So just move. you know,
Okay. Here's a question. How about therapy? What's your what?
Therapy. Um, if you have the ability to get therapy from your insurance, and that you can have somebody that comes to the house, or you go to the wherever the therapist is, do what they say. I mean, it's like just tedious, repetitive things that are no fun and they're irritating, and you get kind of annoyed about the whole thing. But if you keep doing it, you can end up doing it, because unscrewing the cap on a bottle is something that you don't even think about. But when you can't do that, it makes your life more difficult. And it's like, so you need to learn how to do things. You know, it's like if you want to pull your phone out of your pocket, it's like, and able to hang on to it. It's like you need to do those kind of things. And it's like, and whatever the therapist tells you to do, do. And don't overdo it. Don't, because you can end up pulling your, straining yourself. So if they tell you to do 10 reps of 5, then do those 10 reps and then stop. And it's like, and don't think, oh, I'm feeling good, I can do 20, because that could end up making it even worse. So, what else do we have here? Let's see. You have to teach your brain to tell your body what to do. I don't know if we covered that very well, but it's like you have to make your brain say, I want to move my finger. And it's like, and if it's not moving the way you want it to, you have to make it move, and you have to think about moving that finger. And it's like the same thing with your leg, same thing with anything like that. If you've lost the part of the use of your leg, and you can't put on your own underwear by yourself, it's like, without leaning against the wall, that interferes with your life. So it's like you need to do the things that you can do to help yourself, and those things aren't really difficult. They're just annoying and time consuming. And it's like, but after a while you will be so glad that you did, because I was so convinced that I was going to be handicapped, and I decided I was not. I was not going to be handicapped. I was not going to have help doing things. I was going to be able to do whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted to. And I'm living proof that I can,
How bad actually were you?
I was very bad. I don't think that you were quite as bad as what happened to me when I first had my stroke. I lost all the strength in my face. My face hung down. My eye hung down. I could barely speak. You could definitely see this side of my face hung down. I completely lost the use of my right arm. It was stuck to my chest, and I couldn't move it at all, so I had to use my left hand, which I was very right-handed before, so it was very difficult because I had to use a hand I rarely used. So I had to start doing that, and I had to have somebody help me walk. I could walk if I used a walker to the bathroom fairly quickly, but it was like my leg was damaged the least, but it still was not. It was difficult to walk, to doing things. Getting up and down off the toilet by myself was difficult. It was because you don't have the strength in your leg to raise your body up. So it's like, so I had all these things going on with me, and I ended up getting a blood clot in my leg because I sat around too much in the beginning, and I didn't do it as much. Wasn't on my feet as much because I couldn't. And it's like, and if you're sitting around a lot, you're going to get a blood clot in your leg, and that can kill you. I mean, and that can cause a lot of other problems, and it can be painful, and it can end up putting you have to be put on blood thinners to make that so that it doesn't clog up and you lose the use of your foot or your leg. So I'm kind of rambling on here. You're probably tired.
You're doing fine, Jim.
Probably tired of all this.
You're doing fine.
Just don't sit all the time. If you can, try and stand up for a while. Just stand there and watch the cars go by, or lean against the wall. Just don't let yourself become atrophied, and that's going to be the hardest thing to do in the beginning because you don't want to do it, you don't feel like doing it. And even the therapists that I loved, they were really good, they would get on my nerves, and the day that they were coming, I was like, oh God, I wish they would, I don't want to deal with it, but it helps you. It really does, and do what they tell you to do. That was basically...
How about, like you said, when you want something, he should fetch it himself. He should.
Yes, you should.
This should be to my mother right here.
Yeah,
This one.
yeah.
But-
Patty?
yes, Patty.
Patty, don't get him things. If he wants a beer, make him go get it himself. If he wants to have dinner, make him get up and go to the dinner table. Don't bring it to him. It's like if he needs help going to the bathroom, you know, you can help him where he really needs to, but make sure he gets up and walks there himself. You know, it's like you've got to make him do things for himself. Otherwise, you're going to be doing it for him for the rest of your life. And it's like, and it's going to be harder, and he's going to resent it after a while. And it's like you really aren't doing him any favors by coddling him. And that was a big thing for me. It's like by having somebody help me do stuff, it kept me from doing it as much as I should have in the beginning. And it's like the faster you start working on yourself, the less you're going to have permanent damage. So it's like start working on it. Don't let him just sit around. I mean, and it's really difficult to tell a grown man what to do, but you're gonna have to. You know, you love him. You don't want him to be in a wheelchair, and it's like you don't want him to end up falling down a flight of stairs or tripping over something simple. I tripped over my cat one time, and I hit the ground so hard that the whole house shook. You know, it's like because I wasn't paying attention and I wasn't good on my feet. So it's like you need to be able to do things that you need to practice your balance. He needs to practice his balance. You know, practice standing on one foot. And you'll have to hold him probably for quite a while, but if he practices balancing on one foot and then the other foot, if he needs to walk with one foot for the other like a test when you get pulled over for drunk driving, it's like you need to hang on to him while he does that, but he needs to practice having balance. Otherwise, he will not be able to stand straight, and he won't be able to. I mean, basic things. I mean,
how about walking every day? Is that a good?
Walking every day is definitely your best bet, because walking is the best exercise for your whole body. It works, pumps blood into your brain, it pumps blood throughout your whole body, and it will keep you moving for a long time.
How far do you walk these days?
Right now I walk every day. I walk 3 miles, and sometimes if I'm having a good day I will go as far as 5. And it's like in the beginning all I could do was walk to the front yard and then back, and it's like, and now I can go then I went around the block, and then I went around 2 blocks, and then I went around 4, and eventually you can walk anywhere you want to go. You know, it's like if you need to park somewhere that's way the hell away from where you're going, then you can do it. You know, it's like, and that's a big issue. It's like you don't want to have somebody wheeling you around. So walking.
Okay, we leave anything out there?
I don't know. It's like I've been bouncing around here. Yeah, don't cater to them. No sitting. Follow what they say. Do some kind of exercise. You know, pick your leg up and put it on the coffee table. Sit it back down. Put it back up on the coffee table. Just do things that make you do what you want your leg to do. If you're having trouble picking your leg up like this, then you need to practice picking your leg up and putting it down and holding it with your hands if you have to. But you need to tell your brain that you want this leg to move and it's not moving the way you want it to. So you have to move the leg and show it what you want it to be.
Yeah, we know that you used to compete in badminton. Are you still able to compete these days?
Not a badminton player.
Okay. All right. That was Jim, my buddy.
Yeah.
And this is to Chuck and Patty. And thank you, Jim.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Good luck, guys.
All right. Bye.